Welcome back, YouTube. Today I want to do a video on the Stihl FS131r trimmer. I've had this trimmer for about 4 weeks now and just wanted to put together a video on my thoughts on it so far and some of the features. So let's rewind a little bit and talk about how I ended up buying this trimmer, or why I decided to buy this trimmer. For the past 10 years I have been using a Stihl FS131r and an Echo SRM230. The Stihl I bought brand new. The Echo I got from a friend that didn't run. I put a carb kit in it and I've been using it around my property. My property is mainly residential. However, I do live next to a tree line in a farmer's field that I need to maintain. And what I was finding was it just took me a long time with the 55R and with the 230. So what I decided to do is I decided to pick up a trimmer that would be powerful enough to take care of the tree line and possibly run a pull pruner, and at the same time just use it as a regular trimmer. I did read a lot of comments and I watched a lot of videos about how the 4-mix engines, the 91, the 111, the 131R, are a little bit overkill for residential trimming. I haven't seen that to be a problem. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But so far, I have been extremely happy with this. So let's review some of the features and we'll go through this. So starting with the engine, this is a Stihl 4-mix engine, 36.cc. It is a true 4-stroke, push rods, valves, camshaft. However, it runs on 2-stroke fuel. I grew up riding dirt bike squads, ATVs, snowmobiles, all 2-stroke, and I wanted to try something different. So these engines have been around for a while. There are mixed reviews on it. As I stated before, I teach a little bit of small engine stuff, so I wanted to see what this was all about. I can say that they have a ton of torque, just like a regular 4-stroke, anything else that's 4-stroke. A lot of low-end power, so you know it's nice to have that. And why did I go with the 131? Well, I wanted to make sure I was never short on power. I always wanted to have the extra power if need be. I do want to get the pull pruning attachment, so I figured the extra power would be nice. So a couple key features. One thing here, you will have to adjust the valves on this depending on how many hours you put on it, and I know that they Stihl changed and put this little quick access cover on so you don't have to take this whole shroud off. The air filter, it's got a little bit newer design. It's a pleated filter, and what you do is just take those 2 screws out and you can get to it. Starting this has been pretty easy. What I've learned with this machine is if there is fuel in the primer bulb, what you do is you simply put the choke on and it will start usually on the first pull. Okay? If there is not fuel in the primer bulb, then you just pump this 1 or 2 times, put the choke on, and do that. If there is, I have flooded this, you know, just learning the starting procedure of equipment, I have flooded it, and that's because there was already fuel in the primer bulb. I primed it, you know, 2 or 3 times, put the choke on, and you know, I realized that I flooded it after a few pulls. So what I've learned is if there is fuel in here, no need to prime it, just put the choke on. Choke will release after you squeeze the throttle, takes it off, and then you have high idle right there. If you've been running it for a while, you set it down and it's not cold but it needs a little bit of help, you can go high idle and that'll start up as well. Moving down here, okay, this is a great feature. This is just a push button off, no more I and O flip switch, you know, not remembering which one is on and which one is off. So trimmer's all ready to go, and this simply just opens up the circuit to stop the ignition. Operator presence handle and throttle. You can feather this. I watched videos and I read the forums where people said it's overkill, you can't use it as trim. I can feather this. I can hold this at half throttle all day, trim around my property, my flower beds, mulch beds. I don't have a problem with it, and just with anything, it takes a little bit of practice. But you know, you can't do that. There's a set screw under here as well to adjust this. I haven't looked into that much. I know the owner's manual said, you know, if you don't feel like you're getting full throttle, there's a set screw right underneath here that you can do that. One thing I wanted to mention, the oil that I run in here. So in all my equipment, I run Maxima Formula K2. Is it overkill? Could be. I've ran this for years in all of my two-stroke engines. I mix it up somewhere around 45 to 1. If you do not have one, I use, this is called a ratio right, and I would highly recommend getting one. This makes mixing two-stroke oil extremely easy. Depending on the size of your gas can and how many, or what your ratio is, you just mix it up in here. But the Formula K2, I've used this for years. I like the way it smells. You know, there's a lot of different oil forums, and I can get this at a bike shop pretty close by. So I run this in trimmer, leaf blower, chainsaws, things like that. So you know, oil, probably any oil would be fine, but I like to use this. I've had good luck with it, so that's what I use. All right, moving on down to the strap. It's just a standard padded strap. It is a little bit nicer than the one that was on my 55, where it's not padded. Handle, you have your standard loop handle. The R stands for loop. You can also get this model in a bicycle handle setup. It's got a nice padded handle, so nothing to get too excited about. Okay, the head. All right, the guard, you have the standard steel guard. Obviously, if you run a brush knife, you can go with the larger setup, larger deflector. The head, okay, I run Echo Speed Feed head. This is a standard 400, and if you put one of these on, you will have to use the black spacer. The first thing I did when I got this trimmer home, I removed the auto cut 25-2 that was on it, and I put the Speed Feed head on. These, in my opinion, are the best trimmer heads on the market. I absolutely love it. I am actually going to pick up a spare cap and put the bolt through to make these pretty much bulletproof. I've been watching a few videos on that, but line changes, you can restring in about 30 seconds, take a couple arms lengths, put it in there. Right now, I am running a combination. I switch back and forth. So I run Oregon Gator Line 095. Really like this. And I have some Stihl CF3 Pro. I like this as well. Both seem to be equal. So the other thing, you can, on this trimmer, you can take this bolt out right here. They'll sell you a tube of grease at your Stihl dealer. Screw the tube of grease right in here, and you can rotate the head, squeeze the tube, and that's how you grease this gear in here. I would suggest maybe letting the trimmer warm up or run it for 5 minutes, get this head a little bit warm, and then that helps the grease go in a little bit easier. So those are my initial thoughts and reviews. I will make a video of me using this. It has a ton of power. You only have to run this half throttle. Anything more, it bounces off the rev limiter. I think this engine's rev limited around 9,500 RPM. Full throttle with string out, it will hit the rev limiter. So half speed, even going through the brush, half is, you know, half throttle is more than enough. Around the house, around the flower beds and things like that, half throttle is just fine. I did take the guard off and ran the string out a little bit longer. That's just not for me. If you were in a production setting and you were turning out lawns all day, I could see where that might be beneficial, but I decided to keep the guard on and just run it that way. It doesn't bother me at all to do that. One other thing I should mention, this has a larger gas tank than the 130. I'm really happy it doesn't have the goofy steel caps. I'm glad that's not on there. Just a standard cap for filling, but it's got a good size fuel tank on it. So if if you have any questions, go ahead and comment and I'll answer them. But this is an awesome piece of equipment, and I really enjoy it. And you will be seeing a video of me working in the tree line a little bit to knock down some of that high grass. So take care, and I look forward to talking to you soon.